Hey guys, Sam here again. Welcome back to the channel. The subject I wanted to talk about is just being a black nurse, a black male nurse at that. Um, what I think about it, I think is great that I'm seeing a lot more black male nurses in the field, showing a lot more diversity within all cultures in the medical field, especially in nursing. Um, I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud to be a service to the community, a service to, different facets of life. And yeah, it's a blessing. It truly is a blessing. Like, people take this position for granted, and it's just like something that you definitely don't want to do. You want to embrace it. Not everybody has, there's a lot of people out there that want this opportunity, and you don't want to take it for granted. It just like, it astounds me when I feel baffled when people are just not wanting to do the profession anymore, and they're just like tired. And I get it. You can get burnt out in the way the system is right now, especially after COVID. People aren't really, they're not as nice from what I hear anymore, and a lot of them take their position as patients to a whole new level. Like, they treat us like we're the servants, and just and like they stay in the hospital like it's a hotel. So I can see a lot of people's frustrations of not wanting to do bedside. But like, my experiences as a black nurse, and just being in the healthcare profession, period. I started out as a phlebotomist, and then I went off to become an ER tech. And then after becoming an ER tech, I was a registered nurse. And in those roles and in the experiences, I would say that I've had racial things happen to me. I would say I've been called the N-word. I've been called, it was one time someone said I was a little too dark for their taste. It was very, very like, wow. Part of it was the location that I was in one of the first hospital I ever worked in. The location, the culture of this county is known for being racist. So I was prepared for it, but I wasn't prepared on how harsh. Like, I'm like, man, this, at the time, is like, it's 2021. It's it's 2019. Well, it started as 2019, and I'm looking at it, and when that incident happened, it was like 2021. I'm like, are we still being this way? Like, wow. Like, it just, no one's evolved, no one's changed. It's just the same thing. But also, like, currently, like, being a nurse, I walked into my job, to my job. The security looked at me and asked me, could they help me? I'm in scrubs. I'm in the same color scrubs. We wear blue scrubs. That represents nurses. Like CNAs, techs, they wear like teal or turquoise. And then there's other colors too, like doctors wear like a lighter blue. And but like, yeah, it baffled me when I was just like stopped. And I'm like, you're looking at my skin and you're not looking at my attire. It's just like, it was just crazy. I was just like really shocked. That was a shock factor. I'm like, I'm coming to work and I got stopped. And so that was like one of my experiences. Racist patient, not patient, but patient's spouse, said that I did something that I didn't do, and it was proof because I wasn't even scheduled for that shift. And she just blamed the situation on me, and I wasn't even there. Like, I wasn't even there, and tried to blame it on me. Like, the situation that happened when I wasn't even working. It was just like, what was it? I can't elaborate on it. It was a situation where a peg tube was in the patient's stomach. The patient was very altered mentally, and like pulled his peg tube out of his stomach. And that's what happened. So it was like a lot of gush and goo and all that different stuff was all over the bed. And yeah, it was pretty bad from what I heard. And so for some odd reason, the spouse thought that I made the mistake of pulling the peg tube out of the patient and didn't say anything. And I was just like, and I come to work, I'm just in my head, prepping my brain to prepare for what the day is going to come. And one of my coworkers came to me and was just like, yeah, this the patient's wife tried to blame and say that you pulled the peg tube out of the patient's stomach and tried to blame it on you. And the thing is that you weren't even working that day. Like, you weren't even working. And so I'm like, wow, like, really? Like, even here? And like, the hospital that I work at now, they are their goal is to become more diverse and being more inclusive, no matter what race, gender, whatever. Like, they're big on that. They're trying to advocate for that. And just to see, like, still these type of people coming in and having this type of mentality is like, it hurts sometimes. Like, it does hurt, especially when you just trying to give the best care you can to these people, and it happens. So, but yeah, going back to like when I was asked, can I help you? It really was discouraging to even start work when the security person or like the hostess asked that. And I was just like, I felt ostracized in a way. Like, man, like, even when I'm in uniform, I can't even get the respect, the acknowledgement of like being a nurse. Like, it just astounded me. I was just like, and then like they realized, because I got distraught. I was like upset. I didn't express myself, but they could see on my face that I was like very offended. And they tried to like kind of rectify the situation. Oh, I'm sorry, and stuff like that. But it's like, no, it still hurts, and it still shows what society sees as, like, they don't see black people as like people. They just see them as like it's almost like there's a separate bracket for, like, white people get to be successful and black people is everything else. Like, you're more likely to see me as a custodian, or like, and yeah. And I had that experience too, going back to that. I had a coworker at the other when I was an ER tech, and I was on my last semester of nursing school, and it was a nurse that spoke to me and was basically trying to discourage me from being a nurse. And she's sitting up here talking about how many like trips and how how her kids are going to go to college and be astrophysicists and all this different stuff. You held this high standard for your children, but then you have a young, black guy like me, like, and you sit up there and tell me, oh, if I can go back and be a tech, I would do it. And, you should probably stay being a tech because you get a lot out of it and all that different stuff. I'm like, and then you're sitting up here talking about going to the Bahamas and you're making good money, and I'm like, what? And I totally was like, I was like, wow. And I recognized it for what it was. And I was just like, wow, she's that like gonna discourage me like that. Like, wow. Like, and it didn't work because I'm a registered nurse, been a nurse for 2 years now. And I love every minute of it. I go into work and I put my best foot forward and I do what I do. And I met a lot of good people in my experience on, med surge, and it's just, yeah, it's been a great experience meeting all the different patients and stuff. Cause there's been a lot of good patients, I've like connected with spiritually. We talked about God, we talked about this life, and just like meditation, like politics, like people just being people. And you're seeing these people at their most vulnerable moment, and for them to like, for you to bring comfort and make them feel comfortable around you is just, it's a gratifying experience. But I would say like one of the benefits too of like being black in the medical field and using racism to your advantage is that you walk around in society after you get out the hospital and you're not wearing that your scrubs and stuff like that. Black, other races, well, white people, other people will just see you as like a normal person. They would not expect a black person to be a nurse, and I've noticed that. They would not expect you to be successful. They would not expect you, like, that's how deep sometimes this subconscious, I would call it subconscious racism, plays a part. They're so used by media in different places. If you're not like a basketball player, if you're not a rapper, you're not playing some type of sport, then the black male or black female is not successful, and especially for, they just wouldn't expect it. So, like people, it's the same thing with me being vegan. Like, people didn't expect me being vegan. They was like, I didn't think black people, yeah, someone actually said they didn't expect a black person to be vegan. They thought you guys like meat and eat chicken and all that different stuff. And I was just like, wow, that's foolish. That's straight up foolish. No, I don't eat that stuff. And to be honest, a lot of people in Africa don't eat a lot of meat like that. Like, and I've talked to African friends, and I got a friend that he's from Kenya, and like they don't eat a lot of meat like that. So it's this stereotype in America, and it's just like being in America, man. It's funny, cause yeah. So yeah, but yeah, you get a lot of benefits of like people wouldn't expect you to be a nurse being black. It's just, they wouldn't expect it. You walk around, they just think, you're a panhandler and stuff like that. I've had people sit up there and like grab, like white women grab their purse when I walk past, thinking that I'm like steal something, or I'll walk towards them and they think that I'm gonna ask for like some money to like I'm like, man, I dress well. I was like, do I look like a bum, or do I look homeless? Or I'm just like, it's just a stereotype. It's just like, you being black, this equals poverty. That's basically what society, especially I live in, Wisconsin. So, and we're very segregated up here. So yeah, it's very segregated. It's getting better, I would say, in terms of like people becoming aware of like racism and microaggressions and biases and stuff like that, but social biases. But we have to do better. We have to get better, do better, work together, love each other, because we're heading into a time where politics is affecting our way of life in a drastic way, especially with like the new bill that's been implemented and been presented to us, where it's going to affect and change a lot of people's lives, especially in healthcare too. But that'll be for another video on how these new policies will affect healthcare and how, you know, we're dealing with that in life. But yeah, we got to do better. We got to be better. Like, it's a pleasure being a nurse. It's something that I feel like more black males should get into, should inspire to do. And then you know, it takes you to, it's taken me to many places, and I met many people. Just going to do a CPR class, I've met some great people. So, and that's it for this video. You know, if you want to comment, subscribe, you know, click on a button and comment if you, what you feel, you know, how do you feel about being in the healthcare field as a minority? And so, yeah, have a good one and stay cool. Bye.